Stay with me, okay? What you're actually doing is becoming and embodying that version of you who is already that, who already has that, who's already experiencing that. And a lot of us can't get to that frequency because we have things in our way. So if you are talking to your higher self, you're talking to God and you, and you're saying, I want to manifest a special person, or I want to manifest losing weight, or I want to manifest getting a lot of money, or whatever, having a successful business. Okay? God, the universe says, okay, you got it. That's absolutely fine. However, okay, in order to do that, you're going to need to change up some rules. You got some assumptions and some laws and some beliefs that are preventing you from experiencing that. Not I, the universe. I just mirror you, right? This is how I step in. This is how I assist. I work out the details. That's where, but you are the one actually who has the keys, okay? And so it's going to give you these experiences, situations, so that way you can say to yourself who you were versus who you are now. Is this me, or is this who I was? Okay? And so sometimes it's the triggers. Stay with me. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Manè, and the reason you clicked on this video is because you want to talk about triggers. And okay, this word is it's so hyped right now. Like, it's so big everywhere. Everyone loves this word, triggers. Triggers is referring specifically to feedback from the 3D coming in contact with some part of us, some aspect of us, and it's usually something that makes us feel uncomfortable. It usually doesn't feel good to be triggered. I wanted to do a video on it because this year I had my fill. I had my fill with just everything. I felt like, what it felt like was that a lot of the most important things, actually it was two, maybe three aspects of my life that I am manifesting a more desirable state, right? Not better, just that where I want to be, okay? 3 different areas of my life. And it felt like these areas were under attack this year. There was just a lot of old news, a lot of old information. If you are familiar with Neville Goddard, if you're familiar with Joseph Murphy, their work, Florence Scovel Shinn also talks about these intrusive thoughts come up when great change is upon you, and that was very big for me this year. In this YouTube channel, I'm growing this community for us, and I just want you to, the reason why I wanted to do a video on this is because a lot of my videos start with me just kind of prefacing it that you'll feel uncomfortable, and lean into it. Like, that is, if you are scrolling on, any of the platforms, notice what you don't want to watch and ask yourself why you don't want to watch it. Notice what you don't want to listen to, what you don't want to click on, and ask yourself why. Not that it's wrong. Some information just isn't for you, and that's true. But we can ask. We can figure out, okay, why is this uncomfortable to look at? What about this message is hard to hear? I do it too. We all do it. I don't like, there's certain things that I don't like looking at, and I understand that it can be funny, but I don't think people getting hurt is funny. That's just me. Um, and people being embarrassed. So, but also there are some things that you would think are really good. I am very careful, very selective about anything on these social media platforms where they're trying to get you to buy into ideas about what you should be eating, what you should or shouldn't be drinking, things like that. And the reason for it is because I understand that a lot of these things, a lot of these people, they mean well, and they are meant to help people and serve people. I just don't feel a resonance. But I have done what I'm suggesting that you do, which is figure out why. Ask yourself why. Not everything requires you to put down a pros and a cons list, or draw up a Venn diagram, but just asking, like, what, why didn't I want to watch that? What about what they said, or the topic, or what was it? And so yeah, there we go. But I like to start off these videos by saying, listen, invite the opportunity to be triggered, as well as inspired, because there is this capacity for you to grow, even if it's just your relationship and understanding of who you are. Asking yourself the questions, are these my insecurities, or are these learned insecurities? What are my judgments about this here? When something happens, you're in a okay, something you weren't expecting to come in the mail that makes you upset comes in the mail, okay? Or you wake up and you were expecting a response from someone, but you didn't get it, okay? All of these things, okay, the three-dimensional world is just mirroring you. It's your feedback that you're getting, and it's 100% tailored to you. And so how you are feeling, we listen to our body and we listen to our emotions. We do not attach to them, but we listen to them because they're providing us information. They're giving us some valuable feedback. And yes, so when it happens, we want to be grateful, because it is the way that our highest self is showing us where we're still bound, okay? Where we're still limited, okay? It's a lot how we have, before embarking on spirituality, conscious, being super intentional with your awareness, okay? Before all of that, the way that we responded to this feedback, these triggers, okay? It was solidifying in us some beliefs, some assumptions, okay? That's how we were using it unconsciously. For example, if we have a belief that, that old people are mean and bitter and, whatever. And maybe it's because the elderly in our family was this way, okay? Just giving an example, all right? Anytime we went over to that person's house or we interacted with whatever, that's what we got, okay? And then we said, see, this is what's happening with them. This rule is is real, because every time that I'm interacting with old people, I get a crazy old bat, or I get someone who's not nice, okay? Just super short and doesn't have time for me and is just condescending, whatever it is, okay? So we let it solidify the assumptions in us, okay? And it can go on like that forever and a day. It can be that for always. No one is judging, okay? Nobody, okay? That's just something that we assume, and so therefore, all of those, okay, even if they're a great person and they're not like that, you're going to find them, if they run into you, they are going to interact with you on this level to match your assumptions, okay? And so what happens when you know, this is not really a trigger, but you get the idea. But if you run into someone or whatever and they trigger that for you, you have a choice. You have an option. You can say, like, okay, you know what? I get that not everyone is like that. I get that there are people who have different experiences. I get why I assume that. And I get that over the years I've only, you know, added confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. But what if this is an opportunity because maybe down the line I have, you know, I'm going to meet some people who are old, who are wonderful, who are going to be great, you know, to have as a part of my tribe. And you know, just, I'm making up an example, but, and so triggers are here to help you. They're here to serve you. They're not here to piss you off. They're not here as bumpers to keep you in your lane. I mean, they can, but we don't have to keep them. We can change them. So when it comes to, you know, manifesting a special person, okay, you want a significant other. Well, first of all, when I say manifesting anything, the way that you're doing it is becoming in alignment. And this used to freak me out when people would say that, because I got so sick and tired of hearing about getting in alignment. But I promise you, I'm going to stay with me, okay? What you're actually doing is becoming and embodying that version of you who is already that, who already has that, who's already experiencing that. And a lot of us can't get to that frequency because we have things in our way. So if you are talking to your higher self, you're talking to God and you're saying, I want to manifest a special person, or I want to manifest losing weight, or I want to manifest getting a lot of money, or whatever, having a successful business. Okay? God, the universe says, okay, you got it. That's absolutely fine. However, okay, in order to do that, you're going to need to change up some rules. You got some assumptions and some laws and some beliefs that are preventing you from experiencing that. Not I, the universe. I just mirror you, right? This is how I step in. This is how I assist. I work out the details. That's where, you know, but you are the one actually who has the keys, okay? And so it's going to give you these experiences, situations, so that way you can say to yourself who you were versus who you are now. Is this me, or is this who I was? Okay? And so sometimes it's the triggers. Okay? Sometimes it's the triggers that does that. And so let's say that you have a trigger that it's a red flag. It's a red flag if he or she does this thing, okay? And then this person does this thing, okay? You have to know, first of all, that is just being reflected back to you, okay? That is being mirrored to you by you. What are the coincidences? Okay? But a lot of us, we assume, like, oh my God, that's the spirit telling me that I need to get out of here. Okay. And then what do? You get out of here. You know what I mean? That is the assumption. But it could just be, you know what? My belief about this thing pre-existed this experience. A lot of what I got to say can't really make a whole lot of sense if you don't understand that you are the cause of your reality. If you don't understand that you that everything is being mirrored back to you, every little thing is being reflected back to you. It existed in you first, okay? It existed in you first. And you might say, oh, Manè, but I never imagined for a second that, you know what I mean, that this guy would come and do this thing and run off with my money. I never imagined that. It's not the specific situations. Remember, the universe speaks in terms of energies, and frequencies, okay? The feeling state that these situations bring to you is what you are rehearsing, is what you are most familiar with, there's some belief, there's some core beliefs and structures that keep that as part of your experience. Now, why I love triggers so much is because I think that it going through the storm. You know, the story about the buffalo and the storm, and instead of running away from it, they run towards it, and they're in the storm for like no time at all, and they get stronger. It's a beautiful story. It's like that. I think that triggers give you the opportunity to cover the most ground in the least amount of time. And you kind of just have to go, you got to sit in it, you got to go through it, and you have to do the shadow work, figure out where you're at with it, and act like you want to, act like who you want to be. So if who you want to be is someone who's just, because guess what's happening? Guess what's staying true? You just keep telling the same story. That all these, all these people, all these men, all these women, they're all the same. They do the same thing, and you're just thinking like, God, it's just, I don't know why this keeps happening to me. I don't know why I keep finding these same people. If this is what you're saying, I keep experiencing the same thing with these jobs. Okay, all types of relationships. I keep giving my sibling another chance, and they just keep disappointing me. Let me tell you something. They cannot outrun you. They cannot outrun your beliefs. They cannot be different than what you assume. They can't. Okay? There's more to them. There's so many different aspects to people. Why do you keep running into, racists? Why do you keep running into narcissistic people? And you know what's so crazy? I'd be thinking about this. What's so crazy is that you could think you've run into a racist or a narcissist, okay? And they could just not be that, okay? I'm serious. They could just be totally, okay, loving and not at all. But they have to mirror you. Okay, co-creators, they gotta apply it to their laws. And I know this because there'll be some times where it doesn't happen often, but I'll act to strangers, whether that's the store, the bathroom, or something, amusement park. I'll say something, or I'll do something that I'll be like, what? What'd you say? Why'd you say that? Why'd you do that? That's not who you are. It'd be weird. It'd catch me off guard. Like, sometimes I don't even say or do anything. I think I love my personality. I don't associate with being an introvert or an extrovert. I feel like I can do all of it, all the things. But sometimes I get into a space and I'm just quiet, and I don't understand why I'm so quiet. And then sometimes my quiet, like I could feel like I'm coming off like snotty or something like that, and be like, that's not me. I said, why? What's making me so quiet in this space? And so I have to do some work to kind of get out of it. But at any rate, we're talking about triggers. Okay. They're good for you. Love them. Be so grateful for them. They help you to cover the most ground in the least amount of time. You can really do some really quick work and really change your experiences. And these triggers help you to understand where you are still holding yourself back, where you are still sabotaging yourself, where you are keeping yourself from experiencing the love you want to experience. And these triggers are designed to help you shift states, okay, to move states, jump timelines, as some would say, okay? So you have to be different. You cannot, okay? You cannot be the one without it and the one with it at the same time. You can't serve two masters. You got to let one go. And so it might triggers will make you feel uncomfortable. You might be like, oh my God, I can't. This is a no. This is a red zone for me. And that's absolutely you can do that. You have that right to stay there. But you're saying with your heart and your mouth that you want to have different, be different. And so what you've created and manifested, we already know that the 3D is on a time lag. And so when it comes up to you, if you're saying that you're wealthy, and then something happens, I'm not saying you can respond. You got to practice this, okay? You're not just an expert. You're not just perfect, okay? You have to practice being this person just like you practice being broke, just like you practice being sick, okay? You practice being sick before you get sick. So many of us, we don't even think, because it happens so fast in our mind. If we want to get out of something, an event or work or whatever, we just be like, oh, okay? You practice in your head that a cold is coming. You'd be like, oh, itchy throat, okay? Listen, take what resonates, leave the rest. But we practice it. And so you have to practice being the one you want to be, all right? And that's not going to come with perfect situations, right? Perfect situations that just naturally, okay, you're in your comfort zone, right? Like, I'm in my sanctuary, my house, everything is perfect. Some of us are hiding. Some of us don't want to go outside because we don't want to put the new one to the test. We don't like the feeling of being triggered and tested. So we do not feel safe outside. We feel fake outside. We feel old outside. But outside is going to help you. Interacting with other people is going to help you solidify it. You got to practice it, okay? And then at some point, after so much practice, you're going to hear yourself and you'll be like, damn, I really did it. And what's cool about the triggers is it's not transactional. It's not you do this, then you get this. We got to get out of this mindset of 1 + 1 = 2. It does, but that is a part of the how in the back. That's not for us consciously to be fixated on. Consistency, persistence, staying focused, aligning yourself. And this is how you align yourself in your chosen responses to these experiences. Okay, I had to take a little break. So, yes, triggers help us to practice who we want to be. They help us what's actually happening, okay? You got the situation, it did this to you, it didn't feel good. You remember how you would have responded, or maybe you even did respond. It's okay in the beginning if you respond like the old way. As long as you're aware of it, you can correct it, you can revise it, you can say, okay, now what I want to do is I want to get better at that response. I want to be able to not feel it. I want to be able to, whatever, okay? What's happening is this is the alignment that's happening. You're raising your vibration when you're making these choices, okay? You don't realize it, but this is how you become that one who has it. The triggers help you to do that when you face them, okay? When you face them, they make you that version of you that you want to be, okay? They at least give you the opportunity, okay? In the Bible, it says, who do you say that I am? All right? And that's all that's always happening. A lot of us are saying some pretty low vibrating things like, I'm the one who gets abused. I'm the one who gets betrayed. I'm the one who's rejected. I'm the one who's left out. Okay? And you really got to get good at listening to yourself, listening to those thoughts, because some crazy stuff that goes on. It'd be really so much drama, okay? In my mind, for me, okay? When you listen really close, say the experience that you're having is some friends and your friend group left you out of something. You could be like, okay, how I would normally respond is I'd be upset and I'd give them the cold shoulder. Then you would say, the way that I want to respond is I don't want to be affected by something like that. I don't want to push it down and act like I'm not upset. I want to actually not be fazed by something like that, because it's really not that big of a deal, okay? And some part of me thinks that it is. And where is this coming from, right? Let me go back, let me look at some things and figure out what about this is upsetting me, okay? And so then when you get ready to go choose the way you want to be, you're going to hear the opposition. You're going to hear the you that you've been the longest saying stuff like, you're a pushover. If you do that, that means they've won and you've lost. And that makes you weak. And then they're going to do it again. Okay? Rose eyes. You can believe that. But I just want you to know that's just who you've been the longest talking. It's not alive. That is not... You got to get good at knowing who's got the mic. You have to get really good at understanding who is talking to you. And we are just so good at just going with it. We don't even realize. We think that's who we are. We claim that as part of our identity. We are not able to. We're getting better, right? And this is what I want this for this channel. What I want to share of myself with this community is how to... Yeah, so this is a self-mastery community, how to master oneself by sharing experiences and best practices and all that good stuff. But I want you to get really good at listening to who's talking. And you'll know based off the way you feel. You understand the stuff you want feels good. And you understand that the other, the other voice doesn't. It's not good or bad. It's high vibrating and low vibrating. Okay? You understand what high vibrating thoughts, emotions, experiences feel like. You understand what low vibrating. And so if I hear that thought like this, well, they get to just run all over you. Who has the mic? How is that supposed to make me feel? Right? That's supposed to make me feel like I'm supposed to be. Okay? And we attach to it. We think that's us. And so we just go along with the program. And we just I mean, it's like Inside Out, for real. If you've seen the movies, Inside Out. It's like Inside Out. You just do what whoever upstairs, okay, whatever has been playing. And it's just a record. There's no power in the past. There is no power in your ego. And this is not to be against ego, to bash ego, because your ego will eventually, just like you've programmed it to be, whatever it is, it will eventually be your new self. So it's being transmuted, it's being transformed. Well, something that Neville Goddard used to say is we don't throw away the clay. You just remake it. You just remold it. You can't throw it away. So I'm not part of that movement that's like, kill the ego. That's your best friend. That's the learned lessons. The wrong assumptions, but served you for a time. Kept you safe. That's a whole nother conversation. But you want to get really comfortable with triggers. You love them. They're going to help you to raise your vibration, to get to the state of mind that has all the things that you want, okay? And so how do you know that you're being triggered? That's easy. You feel it, okay? And you want to ask your guides, your angels, whatever your belief system are. For me, it's just God. It's my highest self, okay? The one who already has all the things that's been planted in my mind. That's the one who I'm communicating with, okay? And I just say, hey, I want to hear the truth. Make it clear to me. Make it clear when I'm being old, okay? And sometimes now it's so cool. I can see. I'll still be doing it because the body, okay, has all the memory. A lot of stuff is remembered. The anxiety is remembered. The fear is remembered. The sensitivity, the PTSD, the trauma, it's in our body. And all that can be reprogrammed. But it's not helping. We're not making any changes. We're not raising our vibration. We're not getting into alignment with the things that we want. We are not acting as if we are the one who has it by continuing these stories, by playing into these narratives, by keeping it going. Okay, so you're gonna feel it, and allow yourself to feel it and act differently. There's a reason why we can speak in opposition to what we feel in our bodies. You can stub your toe right now, and you have enough power to be to say, that was the best feeling in the world. I love that feeling. Okay, you might not mean it, you know what I'm saying? But you can say it, and there's a reason for that, because you're the captain of the ship, and you do not have to stay aligned and stay identified with those other stories unless they serve you, and only you get to decide if that's what does and what does not serve you. So I love triggers, and we really gotta get better at we gotta stop running from them, okay? Because they're not going anywhere. Okay, we gotta face them, we gotta move towards them, because that's where our greatest change, our greatest growth, and what's happening is your self-respect grows too. I was talking in another video about how, from my opinion, I have been addicted to healing and doing shadow work, but I think that it's gonna serve. I believe that it's gonna serve this community, it's gonna serve in the people that I'm able to help. So it's not a waste for me, but I just really like the feeling of self-respect. Like, you know what? I'm so proud of you. You would have never been able to do that. Okay. So, I think I'm gonna do a different video about spiritual bulimia, and that's just like you just purging forever. You just want to keep on purging, but yeah. So this is how you get into alignment. This is how you become that person. We got to stop trying to get the thing. We have to stop trying to get the thing. That is the biggest. That's delaying the thing. Okay. You instead want the state. You instead want to feel like you're that one. You want to feel the greatest level of self-worth, okay? And I was one of those people who if you asked me 8 years ago, do you believe that you're worthy of the thing that you're trying to manifest? I would have said, hell yeah. Oh. If you asked me if I needed to heal from something, I'm like, no. Like, I just was so sure of that. So I empathize with you if you're listening to this and you are like, oh, I'm already that person. Great. Let me tell you something. If you're not, you're going to be, because you keep affirming that truth. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope that you found something valuable. I love for you to share your experiences in the comment section. Tell me how this triggered you. Tell me how this inspired you, what epiphanies you had. Let me know how this was on time for you. And as always, do what you want to do with this video. This content is for us. It's for you. Like it, share it, and subscribe if you want to have more conversations like this one with me. I thank you so much, and take care.